Welcome back, everybody. This is another live edition of the Relationship Gumbo podcast. My name is Derek Jones. I'm your host, and I am going to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. I'm glad you're here. Please share and invite with your friends and family. We have a great topic today. We're going to talk about, women that give up those wifey duties, but only have the girlfriend title. We're gonna talk about that just a little bit. So once again, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you for coming and taking the time out to listen. And give me about 15 seconds. I want to make sure everything is going everywhere it's supposed to go because we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. So give me 15 seconds. I'll be right back on the other side and we will get right into it.
This one for the streets that taught me lessons. They taught me about the grief and people out here stressing. They taught me how the evils wanna keep you from progressing. It's people in your circle wanna keep you from your blessing. No talking to them people when them people come with questions. This mama say no ratting. For them, death is destined. Be careful of the people you invest in.
All right, we are back. I welcome you. Say hello. Let me know where you're chiming in from. We're gonna do a live recording of the Relationship Gumbo podcast. Tonight's topic is wifey duties, girlfriend title. So what I'm going to do, the way we do this show, I'm going to show you where you can get the podcast from real quick, and then we'll do it again at the end. So this is where you can get it. I'm going to put this flyer up really quick. You can pretty much go everywhere you get your podcast from. Just search for Relationship Gumbo, and you can get, I think we're at 14 episodes so far. Today will be number 15. And then we'll be right back again tomorrow with an extra special guest that we're going to have. And we're going to talk about life after divorce. So please come back for that one. That's 8 p.m. tomorrow night. That's a scheduled one. So we're going to get right into this. The way this works, when we record the podcast, I will pause for about 3 seconds. I will start the podcast. And then on the other end of the podcast, I'm going to pause again. And then I can address comments and questions. So we're going to do that right now. So stand by. And welcome to another edition of the Relationship Gumbo podcast. I am your host, Derek Jones. I'm a life coach, an engineer, a strategist, and a mental health advocate. And today we are going to talk about those wifey duties. The title of this episode is Wifey Duties, Girlfriend Title. That one right there. It's a serious thing, and we're going to do a quick deep dive, and we're going to go in, and we're going to come right back out. I'm not going to keep you long on this one, but it's going to be impactful for the people that need to hear it. So we're going to get right into it. So let's talk about a few things. So what I'm seeing now especially with people that are probably in their 20s, maybe early 30s, and you see the chatter online, and people, as a result of seeing a lot of dysfunctional relationships, as a result of seeing the breakdown of a lot of marriages, the generations that are coming behind, they're starting to ask the questions like, what's the point? Why even get married? Why would we even do that? Looking at the examples that we've had. And that's the narrative now. Why would I even want to do that now and deal with the things that I've seen? And it was kind of jarring to hear that from so many different people that was the narrative now. Like, why even do it? And so what's very important, especially now, and I am going to give you a disclaimer, right? Because I always say, I don't want y'all coming for me, right? The disclaimer is we're going to talk about women and women or men that eventually would like to get married. So we're not going to talk about two other different types that are the ones that I know would come for me, right? People who have done the wifey duty thing and it worked out for you, right? You got married in like 6 months and everything's cool and you 30 years in. I'm not talking about you. And I'm also not talking about people who are okay with giving up all of the marriage and wifey stuff and you're cool with it. I'm not talking about you either. I'm talking about people who want to get married eventually, and they've been doing the wifey duty thing, relationship after relationship after relationship, and it's not working out for you. That's the audience tonight. So if you know somebody like that, make sure you attach them to this podcast. So now we're going to get into it. So what I've done is I've come up with 3 different categories. And we're going to call this my top 3 reasons why you giving up those wifey duties with a girlfriend title hasn't been working out for you. So, number 1, the girlfriend title is your goal. Catch that. There's a lot of women out here. They aspire to get the title of girlfriend. And they feel like they've made it. And when you live your life like that, knowing that you have an ultimate goal of getting married, the girlfriend is just a pit stop. It's not your destination. But because of the narrative and how things are in the society today, if you've achieved girlfriend, you win it. Because at least you got somebody, right? That's the bar now. At least I got somebody. and you get into a long-term relationship and you're excited and you're happy. I'm a girlfriend. And what happens is that when we get in these situations where we don't make our intentions known, then the end result becomes whatever it is. So like if you know that your goal, you would like, with the person you're with eventually to get married, you got to state your intentions and see what that other person is. Because if you're not on the same page, guess what? You might be surprised in about 5 years. And you've already, we're going to talk about that. That's one of my other topics. So I'm not going to jump all the way in. But you got to think about it. State your intentions. That's what I always tell people, right? If you listen to my other podcasts, which you should have by now, and if you haven't, please go check them out. I got some good topics for you. What you got to understand is, and what I talk about on a lot of my podcasts is, ask the questions. See if your qualifications are met early. So you don't have to say, hey, I want to get married. But you can say, hey, what would you like to eventually be? Would you want to just have a companion, or, would you ultimately want to be a husband or wife, whatever? And that's the bar. Because now you know what you're dealing with. Because you already got the title, right? And to me, it should happen before the title. But, I'm an old school guy. But when you get that information out, at least you know that's a possible goal for both of you. When you go in with the feels and it's the honeymoon stage and we happy and it's 2 years and whatever happens, but inside you want to be married, don't be surprised because you set the bar for the behavior. Let me let you in on a little secret, right? There's a population of men who live their lives into adulthood and they want to be a husband, right? And they track their behavior to wanting to be someone's husband. But by and large, what happens is men, especially if they're really into you and they really want you and they really like being near you and all of that, you know what the man's goal is for the most part? It's not marriage. Guess what it is? It's just to lock you down. What do I have to do to lock you down to make sure nobody else comes here? We territorial. So if marriage is a qualifier for me to lock you down, I might have to go ahead and do that. But if you do the wifey duties and I'm getting everything that I need in order for me to consider that you locked down, why would I go a step further? I got it all. We living together. We got 2 kids. You making me a steak and cheese when I come home from the club at 2 a.m. We good. You locked down. I met somebody a while ago. They was like, I've been with this guy for 10 years and he keeps saying, we going to get married and I'm just tired. I don't know what to do. Like, is he ever going to do it? And I'm like, you 10 years in. He got a wife already. Cause you doing it. So that's number 1. You think about that. Girlfriend could never be your destination if you want to be married. Catch it. Girlfriend is something that looks cute on Facebook, right? But that's not the destination if you know in your heart you want more. We're going to talk about that a little bit more on number 3. But number 2, I'm going to call test drive the car. You ever heard anybody say, well, I do want to get married, but I need to test it out first. Make sure, I kick the tires, see what's up. I got to test drive the car. You know what that is? You ever see somebody who goes out and they test drive a lot of really nice cars that they can't afford? They know they're not ready to buy, but they'll go sit in the car, stand beside the car, take selfies with the car, post it on social media, and it look good. And you're like, dang, did he really get that Lamborghini? Did he really get that Audi? Nah, he just test driving it. He didn't really have an intention to buy. He's not ready for that. But what you do is, because he took the time to test drive, you go ahead and give him the wifey duties. At least he did stop by. You might as well go ahead and let him keep that car overnight. Let him keep it for a week, see if you really like it. But what you do is you let him test drive for 5 years. And then you're like, are you going to buy? What's going on? Nah, I can't afford this. But guess what you got after 5 years? You got a lot of relationship goals pictures. Standing beside the pretty car. Stop it. And we going to segue into number 3. Because I told you I wasn't going to keep you long today, because tomorrow we got an amazing show. Number 3. Time served does not guarantee you anything. I'm going to rewind and say that again. Time served does not guarantee you anything. Because this is the thing. When you're in a relationship, right? You start from the beginning. You in the honeymoon stage. You establish that you both eventually want to grow into something more, right? Now catch that word, grow. That means there's stages before you get to the goal, growth. What most of us do is our stages it's very linear. We just happy to be there. And there's no growth. So if there's no growth, the girlfriend title is enough. But you still want to be married. So you start making up excuses. When y'all gonna get married? Y'all been together for a while. Oh, we gonna get there one day. And because I am the consumer of like ridiculous amounts of information, I ran across this term that fits a lot of women, but mostly men. And it explains these people where you've served the time, you've done, you've been there for a while, but you're trying to figure out why. Why aren't they ready? And they keep making up these excuses about, I got to get this ready. I got to do this before we do it. I got to make a certain amount of money. There's a term, and you can Google it. It's called destination addiction. And what that simply means is when a person when they profess that they want to marry you, but they got to wait until they achieve a certain goal first. I need to get a certain job. I need to make a certain amount of money. I want to make sure we have a house first. And then I'll do it. The destination addiction is that the destination is your goal, but it becomes an addiction when you get to the goal and then you create another goal and another goal. And it's an endless loop that you can't get out of because you don't know when to stop. So the first goal might be, I need a better job. And you get that job and you're like, yes. And so the woman is like, okay, so we can get married now? Like, I'm not rushing you, but yeah, we did it. You'd be like, but wait, we don't have a house though. Once we get the house, I promise you, I'm gonna propose. You get the house. And he's like, plan on having kids, so let me make sure that I got a car. And we get that car, maybe in a couple years, because we got to add that in financially, and then I'll do it. Right? Now, remember the title of number 3, time served. What do you normally equate that with? Jail, right? When you go to jail, it's not a happy place. It's misery. So imagine being with somebody for 8, 9, 10, 11 years with the promise that that engagement is going to happen. And it never does. And you get tired of asking. You in jail. And then you got to wait. Because now, time served, you ain't going nowhere. It's your man. Y'all got stock now. You've been in a relationship for 10 years. You ain't leaving. And guess what? There's no rush anymore. The rush was in like the first probably 5 years, 3 years, whatever. Now, 10 years in, we good. Got the wifey duties wrapped up in a pretty bow. Thank you. Doesn't mean malicious intent on his part. But there's no goal. We already achieved that. Little Billy going to football practice every day. Like y'all, y'all good, right? And you sitting at home like, damn. Well, what are we waiting for? You already arrived. You know that old saying, why buy the cow when the milk's free? Y'all giving up like hooves and ribeye steaks and sirloin and ears and tails and stuff. Like y'all, it ain't even just the milk no more. Yeah. So I'm not saying the people that do that, disclaimer number 2, there's anything wrong. If it makes you happy, I'm happy for you. But if you're not happy, stop it. Because who wants to be unhappy? Nobody's choosing that. Make your intentions known. We wrapping this up now. Make your intentions known. And if that person ain't rocking with that, that ain't your man. Because y'all not on the same page. Feel good to be around somebody though, but y'all ain't on the same page. How you gonna get to your goal? Y'all not on the same path. He's still on his destination addiction. Let me get the car. Let me get the money. Let me get the house. Let me get the car. Well, my mama, when she get out the hospital, I got to make sure I take care of her first, and then when she get better, then we gonna go. It's going to continue to go. It's going to continue to go. Lesson I learned a long time ago, right? Real quick, and then we gonna get out of here. Cause I was that guy. There's no time frame on when it's gonna happen. We'll get there one day. Right? And what we don't realize is that day will never come. Because if you rocking with that person for real, what you waiting for? Because I guarantee you when you get married, there's going to be some storms there too that you're not prepared for. So if you're going to rock anyway through the storms, you're going to wait another 7, 8 years? And you know you're not going nowhere? Stop it. It's time to grow up, man. How you rocking with somebody for 5 years and you like, well, we not quite ready yet. 7 years, 8 years. I don't know if we ready. I'm at a loss for words for the first time ever. I don't have because remember we used that word growth. Right? You achieve the different points in the stages until you get to your goal. You got 8 years of zero growth. Just time served. That's why you're not getting married. I need you to catch that one. Time served is not a guarantee of anything. Growth is. That's my quotable of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get out of here. I appreciate you once again for spending your time with me. Make sure that you go to mrcarlogic.net and you can see everything that I'm doing. I have apparel, life coaching, dating coaching, communication coaching, one-on-one groups, whatever you want, I got it. Next month, we're going to do some boot camps on some things that I know y'all need, so stay tuned for that. So just check me out. And remember, podcast, Relationship Gumbo. Search for it everywhere, and it's there. I want you guys to have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow because we got another amazing show. Take care. All right, we done, guys. If you're still here, Dr. Tammy, Curtis, everybody, welcome, Alicia. So we done. I'm glad you guys came. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in now because I'm going to get off here and let you guys go. So tomorrow, we got a show about divorce. And I have a special guest that some of you know, some of you don't know, but the flyer is circulating on all my social media. We are going to have a guest tomorrow on the podcast, and we're going to do a deep dive. She's going to share her story about how she, came out of divorce and how she came out of, being in a marriage for, over 10, I want to say it was like 13 years. Don't quote me on that. And it was not a happy place for most of it. And so she's going to tell you how she was able to get the strength to leave. And a lot of people, are currently in that situation. So I'm all about choosing topics that help you think differently and kind of order your steps. Because just real quick, because this is important, you got to think about it. And those of you who are, that are familiar with the science fiction movies, and they have things that deal with time travel, and then there's if you change one thing in the past, the trajectory of your life goes in a totally different direction. You have the option to choose the trajectory of your life from today by making a simple decision to make a change. And then your trajectory changes and it goes on a different path than what you're on, especially if you're not happy and you're miserable and you don't know which way is up. You make that decision today, and then you project out into your future and see what that future looks like based on that one decision. I guarantee you it will change your life. And that's just not about relationships. That's about anything that you have to make a decision for to get you out of a stuck place. You make that one change and it changes everything. Think about that. So I'm going to let you guys go. I thank you guys again. I appreciate you. And we will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Same place. And we're going to have an amazing guest tomorrow. And y'all enjoy. See you tomorrow.
This one for the streets that taught me lessons. They taught me about the grief, and people out here stressing. They taught me how the evils wanna keep you from progressing. It's people in your circle wanna keep you from your blessing. No talking to them people when them people come with questions. This mama say no ratting, for them death is destined. Be careful of the people you invest in.